Hello, I'm Joshua Lindsey, and this is Joshua T. Lindsey TV. Welcome to episode 15. Today, I would like to talk about a philosophy called secular existentialism. Secular existentialism is a philosophy that was popularized by French author Albert Camus, among others, who stated a two-pronged theory. One, that there is a major question in life, that is, why am I here, or why are we here? And that there is tension in a person or stress called existential tension or existential stress in a person until he arrives at the answer. And existentialism offers that this answer is for no reason. The secular existentialist claims that once a person arrives at the conclusion that we exist for no reason, and therefore there are no rewards or consequences to our choices, we are free to make whatever choices we want to, because in the end we will become nothing and die, and that will be the end of us. Now, I have some good news and some bad news. The bad news is, if you haven't come to this conclusion yourself already, this is a very drab, dark, and depressing theory. The good news is that I believe so strongly that in fact I know that this philosophy is wrong, and I not only believe so strongly that my Redeemer lives, but in fact I know that he lives, and I know that he will redeem not only me, which would be rather depressing, but also as many of you who will also accept and to follow his ways. And some of you may stop me right there and say that I'm saying that if I do not try or do not do enough works to merit my salvation, that I will not reach heaven. And that is not what I am saying. Rather, I am saying that by no merit of my own, or no amount of trying, can merit or gain me heaven on my own. But it is Jesus's taking notice of this trying, accepting it as worthy of elevation, that is, earnest in its trial, that gets us to heaven. Because by our own merit, none of us is worthy of heaven. But it must be through the cooperation of our own wills with that of Jesus Christ, that together will merit us to go to heaven, God willing. And again, some of us may disagree as to what this cooperation exactly is. Some of you may be saying that I am saying that this cooperation involves some kind of effort that, when combined with Jesus' effort, would merit our salvation. But rather, I am saying that our effort or our surrender is effort that does not affect our salvation by any means directly, but rather that effort exists only to show God that we want salvation, and to tell Him that we are willing to do whatever it takes to follow Him, and that although we fail, and although we fall short of the glory of God in these express ways, we want to be with Him, and we want to meet the standard that He wants us to meet. And by that surrender or submission to God's will, by submitting the fact that I want the salvation, I want to be with you, and I love you, despite the fact that I could never effect even an ounce of my salvation on my own, but rather I am willing to surrender my will over to you so that you may save me and others, so that we may attain to eternal life. In this we find freedom and salvation that will not only last until we die, but last into the second phase of our existence. This earthly phase being the first phase, and the heavenly phase being the second phase. And because Jesus Christ is good and sees us as good, if we surrender our will over to Him in earnest, and thus confess with our mouths and our hearts that Jesus Christ is Lord, it is in this that we find salvation and happiness, not in the notion that our life has no consequences or rewards, so we might as well do whatever we want to do and then die and everything will be okay because it didn't mean anything otherwise. That to me is depressing, and I would like to take a few seconds to explain to you 2 reasons why I know that Jesus is correct and the existentialists are wrong. And the first reason I know that they are wrong is because there are not billions of followers of Albert Camus, Kierkegaard, Sorensen, or any of the other existentialists, but there are billions of followers of Jesus Christ. And they have existed for thousands of years after Jesus died and are still thriving. The second reason I know that they are wrong is because none of the existentialists ever claimed to be God. But Jesus Christ did. He said, I and the Father are one. He who receives the Father receives me. He who sees the Father sees me. And no one can come to the Father except through me. And also, there were several witnesses to Jesus' resurrection, if not at the resurrection itself, in the 40 or 50 or so apparitions of Jesus Christ, that is, appearances to his 12 apostles and to his larger group of disciples after he resurrected, up until the time, 40 days after his resurrection, that he ascended in front of them by his own power up into heaven and into glory, and he promises that he will be with us until the end of time, and that he will return just as we have seen him going up into the clouds. He will return. And like I have said in my previous videos, when that happens, none of us will have any doubt as to who he is and why he is down here. We will know immediately. And it is for this reason that we have hope, not in the admittedly absurd notion that there is no point to life and there are no consequences or rewards for our actions, so we might as well do what we want to do because it's all pointless and we're going to die anyway. And you may not that this philosophy is pervasive in today's society, but if you consider the you only live once or YOLO phrase that is popular today, many people, and I'm not naming names here, but I am saying that many people believe that we only live once, so why don't we do what we want to do when we want to do it and with whom we want to do it. Now, completely unrelated to what I was talking about before in this video, I would like to express my condolences and deep sadness for the tragedy that happened yesterday at a Florida high school in which at least 17 students and faculty were killed by a gunman that apparently was upset because he was expelled. While I condemn his actions and agree that it should be unacceptable and is in fact unacceptable for him to do this, I also plead with the Justice Department and everyone in charge of making decisions with regard to his case that he should be shown mercy, because it is only in forgiveness and love that we are going to find peace. When a tragedy like this happens, I am not saying that any of us caused this to happen. It is solely on the person who committed those acts to take responsibility for his actions. And I'm not saying that anything that we do or not do perpetuates this the violence, because that violence is on him. But I ask that we show an example of Jesus' forgiveness and Jesus' unrelenting mercy, and show him the mercy that he has shown us. This is my opinion. It is not to be taken as gospel, as I am not claiming to be a speaker of the gospel, but I strongly have this opinion. Again, I am not blaming anyone for doing anything or not doing anything that caused that tragedy to happen, but I am saying that a good way to peace for those of us that are coping with that situation, either secondhand, like myself, who is among the people in the nation who did not know the people who died, and is only affected as an American because of my citizenship, but also those who suffer firsthand. A good way to cope with this is to forgive and show mercy to the person who did wrong, not letting him out of prison for the rest of his life, but also not imposing on him the death penalty if he is found guilty of his crimes, because that, to me, is not the way to cope with tragedies and violence of this nature. It is to respond with mercy and compassion. I'm not saying that this will undo what he has done, but I am saying that it will probably bring more closure to those who grieve and those who are helping those who grieve to come to some kind of peace. God bless the victims of this tragedy, and God have mercy on the perpetrator. Thank you. Have a good day. And if you would like to subscribe to my if you would like to subscribe to my channel, please do so. at the bottom of this video, clicking the red subscribe button and also the bell, which lets me know that you have subscribed to my channel and lets me reach out to you if I want to, and also lets you know when I put out a new video if you like these videos. Now, I'm not saying that you have to listen to everything that I am saying or agree with everything that I'm saying. You're free to turn this video off as you see fit, but I hope that you get something out of my videos and that you appreciate what I am saying, and I hope to make more videos for your enjoyment and in order to provoke thoughts and ideas that you may not have thought about before, not in a random fashion, but rather as they come to me as a follower of Christ. Thank you, and have a good day. See you next time on Joshua T. Lindsey TV.